Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. All right, let's see what we got.
These new TDE allegations are fucking horrific. This is terrible. There's an artist on a TDE called Alameda. She's dead center in the middle of all these allegations. Now, Alameda signed a TDE about 5 years ago, and Alameda and two of her friends TDE, according to the allegations. Surprisingly, Alameda is still signed to TDE, which would explain a lot of the recent developments in this case. Linda on the left was brought in by TDE to manage Alameda, help her with her career, give her various looks.
So before we go into this, first let me check this audio, make sure audio is working before I get too far deep in this. But basically, man, we're gonna spend today just exposing TDE. And I ain't gonna lie, man, TDE is comparable to Rock Nation on how good their PR is with sweeping shit under the rug. And that's nothing against them. That's just salute to the PR team. That's excuse me. That's a great firm. Can't beat that. All right, let's see.
Linda is currently working with Jello Ball, and she helped Jello Ball get a deal. So she's an industry fixer. She's one of those people who's well connected in the industry. And Linda is currently working with Jello Ball, and she helped Jello Ball get a deal. So she's an industry fixer. She's one of those people who's well connected in the industry.
Let me turn this shit off. Turn that shit off. All right, so where is it? I just want to show y'all that this story came out about 10 months ago. What was 10 months ago? That would be so July of last year. So we'll go to this story first. And we're gonna do something real quick on this one, just to show y'all what they was talking about 10 years ago. We're gonna make it real quick.
Quickly. And TDE just received some really bad news today in court. The lawsuit was initially filed at the end of 2024 by two women against Anthony Tiffith and Brennan Tiffith. If you guys don't know these two, this is Musa and his brother. They're both sons of Top, who is the owner of TDE. The two women are suing TDE and the sons for $48 million, citing workplace harassment, sexual harassment, and among other things, there's a slew of allegations. Now, in response to these two women filing this lawsuit and accusing TDE and the sons of doing these things, the lawyer for TDE, Marty Singer, responded back, issued a statement to Double XL. Now, when they issued a statement, the two women were filing under Jane Doe, so their name were not public. However, in their response to these two women, the lawyers revealed their name and their identity to the public. The statement has since been redacted to not include the women name due to the legal ramifications that came from them releasing the women name to the public. But the statement states, this is a clear example of a shakedown lawsuit by the women, originally they listed their names, who made a demand of $48 million through their attorneys on fabricated claims, and whose attorney are looking for their 10 minutes of fame.
Just keep that in mind.
Messages and communications
that fabricated claims.
These baseless claims. Additionally, the women were never employees of Top Dog Entertainment. We are confident that we will prevail in this action. On top of the original allegations, the women added an additional charge, doxing, because of that particular statement, because they released their names to the public, even though they filed under Jane Doe.
I'm gonna just pause that there. That's 10 months ago. I don't know if this new shit or this update has anything to do with this, right? I have no idea. So we're gonna start with this new shit. Flacco dropped this 7 days ago, so about a week ago.
These new TDE allegations are fucking horrific. This is terrible. There's an artist on a TDE called Alameda. She's dead center in the middle of all these allegations. Now, Alameda signed TDE
she does work for TDE.
And Alameda and two of her friends will essentially be taken through hell by TDE, according to the allegations. Surprisingly, Alameda is still signed to TDE, which would explain a lot of the recent developments in this case. Linda on the left was brought in by TDE to manage Alameda, help her with her career, give her various looks. Linda is currently working with Jello Ball, and she helped Jello Ball get a deal. So she's an industry fixer. She's one of those people who's well connected in the industry, and she was brought in to help Alameda. Aya is Alamida's childhood friend who came along with Alameda, lived in the TDE house with Alameda when she moved in and got signed to TDE. So Aya was essentially doing work with Alameda, but she was also just part of the entourage. Now, both these women have filed active lawsuits against TDE. The lawsuit got filed by Linda and Aya after Alameda called a meeting with TDE executives to complain about harassment and abuse that Linda, Aya, and herself has been going through at the hands of TDE associates and personnel, people who are supposed to be in position of power.
All right, so I'm just making sense of this. So what I just showed y'all, the video that dropped 10 months ago was a lawsuit they filed in 2024. 10 months ago was 2025, July of 2025. So sometime in 2024, news got out in July of 2025 about the lawsuit that they filed. And then they redacted names, so we really didn't know who they were. They were Jane Doe's. And as you can see in the previous video, only watched the first minute of it. They were saying they don't work for TDE. They none of that. Well, come to find out, yeah, they don't work for TDE. They're just associated with a worker or a contracted worker that works for TDE. So just keep that in mind.
Over them, using that position of power to essentially harass them. During this meeting, Alameda challenged TDE executives to take control and protect women. She would say specifically, you got to understand.
TDE got a weird case. Why are they around? Huh? TDE got a weird case. Why are they around?
Somebody if I say something one time and nothing happened, what would be the reason for me saying it over and over? Clearly, I'm not being protected. It's the men that are being protected. Alameda would convey that she had been harassed and violated to no end by several high-profile TDE artists while she was living in a TDE house, and nothing had been done about it. As a matter of fact, the high-profile artists were protected. Alameda reported Isaiah Rashad, one of the most notable names at TDE, and who's also Alameda's biggest source of harassment, the most consistent source of harassment, and she reported him, and they didn't.
Isaiah Rashad, man. If y'all don't know about Isaiah Rashad, first off, let me tell y'all this, man. I grew up in the backpack era, right? Backpack rapper era. So that means Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, right? And I was associated with anything they was doing. J. Cole with the whole Rock Nation or Rockefeller at the time. Drake when it came to Young Money, Cash Money, anything they was doing, even OVO. And that includes Kendrick with Black Hippie and TDE. So anything he was associated with, I was down for. And J-Rock was not J-Rock, but Isaiah Rashad was one of my favorite artists. So was J-Rock. So was Schoolboy Q. And fuck, I don't want to mess up his name. Bro, the best rapper in TDE, bro. What the fuck is that nigga's name with the long hair, got the darker lips? Absol. Yeah. I was fucking with them. And then not too long ago, or not too long after that, but some years ago, some info came out about Isaiah Rashad that he might swing both ways. Well, he does. So he a freak nigga. That ain't alleged. It's true. We seen them text messages. Freak boy. So just crazy he's a part of this.
Nothing, right? They didn't do a goddamn thing. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't protect Alameda. They didn't make it stop. Another artist named Artist S in the lawsuit, who many believe is Sir, tried to bust in Alameda's room while she was sleeping. Now, Alameda will state that things like this happen all the time. So one can only imagine why you were busting in, a girl's room that was locked, who didn't want you in there while she was sleeping. Like, I can only imagine what the ill intentions were. But in terms of Isaiah Rashad, she stated that Isaiah, without consent, has sent her a picture of his love muscle and his meat and his penis and videos that were sexual in nature. Wow. Now, Isaiah would also offer to pay Alameda's bills if he could watch Alameda give another man head while he watched. Fam.
Freak
what
boy.
In the diddler playbook are we talking about here? TDE is supposed to be a record label comprised of multiple gangs. Like, TDE was started by gang members. The executives are gang members. Like, there are artists who are also gang. Like, they're supposed to be like a gang member hub, like a hub for real ninjas. How are they like condoning?
You asking the right question, Flacco.
And apparently it's happening in the public. Now, Isaiah Rashad was outed by one of his encounters like a couple of years ago. Right. And by outed, I mean, they posted a video of Isaiah Rashad on 4 knees. The elbows were also his knees. So on 4 knees, throwing down 2 Mexicans. Now, I don't roll that way, obviously, but he was living the flexible boy activities fantasies, man. I mean, real, any flexible ninja who bend that way, what is a greater fantasy than getting thrown down in their world that we don't understand by 2 Mexicans, by 2 Latinos? I guess the only other greater fantasy in flexible boy universe would be for somebody to watch them get thrown, which is why he offered to pay Alameda bills if she would watch him engage in acts with other men.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is straight out of the diddler playbook. I'll be real, I don't even think the diddler is this flagrant. Like, I think Diddy was trying to have like threesomes and freak offs, but I don't think the diddler were paying people to watch him give throat to other men. But this is what she's alleging that Isaiah Rashad offered. There's a thin line between proposition and harassment. It becomes harassment once you sent me an unsolicited in a picture of your penis, and then you start to offer me, right, for me to engage in damn near prostitution, right, on your behalf. That's harassment, especially if I'm expressing that I'm not with it. But the reason why Alameda is not involved or not listed as a plaintiff in this lawsuit is because Alameda is still signed to TDE. And we learned from Drake that it's probably not great to sue your label while you're still signed to them. That's probably stupid and very dumb. But what took place here is when Alameda called this meeting, Alameda recorded the meeting for 3 hours. And she equipped and armed Linda Luna and her best friend, Aya, with the audio, right, of this recording. And with the audio of this recording,
that's a W friend.
Well, Linda Luna and Aya was now equipped to file this lawsuit because they now had at least proof and a record of these conversations taking place and these complaints being made to TDE executives. Linda will report an incident to TDE executives where Brandon, who's the son of the literal owner of TDE, will try to grape her after a night out drinking. Whoa. Linda and Brandon went to the Cheesecake Factory. They had a couple of drinks. Her car was parked at his residence, so they drove back to his residence. However, because
what I will say though, obviously, no, I ain't even gonna fake the funk. I don't believe in that whole believe all women. But I will say this, man. Y'all went out on a date. There was an expectation of something. Y'all went to Cheesecake Factory. Fuck is you going to Cheesecake Factory for? Huh? That ain't where friends go eat. Friends don't eat at Cheesecake Factory. They go eat at like fucking Perkins or IHOP or something. I don't fucking know. Steak and Shake or some shit. Like, what are you doing in the Cheesecake Factory? Come on. Expectations were there. Think. Ladies, situational awareness, okay? No excuse for him, but I'm just letting y'all know, situational awareness.
As she was parked, she asked him if she could go lay down for a little bit because she was really drunk. So, and he agreed. Again, it's per normal, right? So she went to go lay down. And when she went to go lay down, Brandon waited a little bit, then came into the room according to her and tried to take it forcibly, right? Like try to grape her. Now, she was able to get away because she like made a vomiting motion, and that was able to get him off of her for a little bit, and then she was able to hop up and then run out the door. Now, she reported this incident to Alameda the night it happened. These were incidents they were documenting when it happened. This wasn't like they pop up 6 months later with like these account of things. No, these were being documented. There's a message between Linda and Brandon where she's telling like Brandon, why would you try to do that? And I'm dating your homeboy. Linda at the time had a relationship with, I believe, J-Rock. So she's like, why would you try to do this knowing I'm with J-Rock?
Oh, hell no. So what you telling me? J-Rock, the one cool dude in there, he in a relationship with him, and then the label's son, the label owner's son is trying to fuck his bitch. This shit is wild. Ain't no loyalty in the fucking honestly, nigga, ain't no loyalty nowhere. Just being honest, man. Ain't no fucking, it just ain't loyalty in business. Let me put it like that. Niggas was never your friend, boy. They was trying to fuck your chick. And I'm sorry that you had to find out like this, J-Rock. I mean, them niggas would have, they probably already tried fucking any chick you had before, brother. Let's just be honest.
Right? And the girls will also call each other and let each other know what this person just tried and what this person just tried. So this was well documented as it was happening. Now, when Linda was speaking about this during the meeting, she got so emotional she had to walk out to compose herself. The briefing stated that Linda broke down in tears again, stating, "I'm sorry, but it has happened with his brother. Give me a minute, okay? Give me a minute." At this point, Linda had to stop to compose herself. During that time, on information and belief, Artist A stated that she had previously informed TDE about the incident. So again, this was being documented and reported as it happened, right? And that the incident was also why Alameda had blocked Brandon on Instagram. Artist A, which is Alameda, further stated that the reason she did not socialize in the office was because of instances like the one she and Ms. Luna had raised. This was not the only instance, by the way. These women were waking up every day and playing Hunger Games for their coochie, bro. They were literally having a fight for their lives for their coochie, bro.
That's fucking wild.
No, like, bro, Linda and Aya was playing God of War on Give Me God of War mode, bro. Like, the difficulty was very hard. Now, Alameda would also document, bro, like, similar things happened to Aya as well. And the very same people who did it is still around. They're still in the house after we alerted y'all and told y'all what they did to Aya. Aya, who's Alameda's best friend, was also...
First of all, why the fuck do y'all got a bunch of people living in the same house on the same label? Y'all make enough money to get your own shit? I know LA, like, expensive and shit, but, like, I thought TDE was a very prosperous label. Why can't everybody get their own shit? Like, the only reason I could see a bunch of artists being in the same house, y'all working on a similar project or a joint project. If that's not what y'all doing, why the fuck are y'all in the same house? It sounds like a great way as a business owner to charge people for room and board as a label owner and get the most out of it. You can all charge them the same price as if they live by themselves, but you're providing one house for housing. Because they can do that in the contract. Like, yeah, we took this much money out your budget because we were paying for your housing, which means you were paying for your housing. Like, yeah, that's the only thing I can see. There's no reason why a bunch of artists need to be living in the same house. I bet you SZA ain't living in that house. I bet you Kendrick wasn't living in that house. So it's just like, what the fuck? And like J Rock, if you wasn't living in that house, bro, you was cool with your chick living in the same house? Is the label owner's son? Hey, Top Dog must be doing some shit there, dog.
Living in the TDE house
You
with
must got that
Alameda.
hold on
And
y'all.
while she was in the house living there, a member of TDE who was also in the house came up from behind her. Now, the member was called B-Dog. Now, the complaint stated that B-Dog approached Aya from behind in the kitchen and without her consent, rubbed his erect genitalia against her buttocks. He repeated this conduct on one other occasion. These dudes were freaked out, bro. Yo, can you imagine having to wake up in your home and have to fight for your coochie every day, bro? I don't know what type of horn dogs they had around, bro, but this ain't boo. This ain't cool. So in January of 2021, another instance happened to Aya. Apparently, a guy by the name of David Harrell, which goes by H. Wood, whom Aya understood to be affiliated with TDE. Now, he has TDE Films in his bio, I believe. Now, he was asked to drive Aya to a studio he had booked for Alameda. So they booked a studio session for Alameda. Aya is apparently the best friend. So he was driving Aya to the studio with Alameda. Now, Alameda and Linda Luna were both waiting on Aya at the studio, right? So Linda and Alameda was waiting at the studio on Aya. He was supposed to drive Aya to the studio. Now, on the way, H. Wood, aka David Harrell, stated that he needed to stop at his home to grab some documents for Brandon. Now, he brought Aya inside and prepared her an alcoholic drink. On information and belief, he was aware that Aya wasn't even 21 yet. Aya felt pressured into drinking a beverage. After she consumed the drink, H. Wood, aka David Harrell, attempted to force Aya onto his lap and attempted to take her clothes off, grabbing her body without consent in intimate areas. Aya literally had to run out the house or run down the hill and call Alameda to let her know, hey, girl, blah, blah, blah. The complaint stated that Aya loudly objected and pushed him away. She escaped the residence, running down the street to a nearby convenience store where she called Alameda to tell her what had happened. On information and belief, Alameda then informed Brandon, the same dude who again, according to them, tried to grape Linda. So the attempted rapist is supposed to punish the attempted rapist, and obviously no punishment ever took place, according to Alameda, according to Linda, and according to Aya. There's so much more we're not getting to. Like one of the owner of TDE's son, Musa, he apparently wouldn't pay Linda certain things or wouldn't pay Linda what he owed her, but instead he would make suggestive comments, trying to hit on her and sexually harass her, sending her pictures and videos, right, of like pornographic things, even though he was her employer, things of that sort. Now the meeting is recorded. Alameda recorded the meeting and then armed her best friend and armed Linda with the 3-hour conversation and audio where they are acknowledging they were told about this. They are acknowledging these reports were made.
Got him.
And nothing was done about it. No action was done. The audio was recorded, so they're just transcribing what's in the audio and what we'll probably hear when this goes to trial. But, here's like a few snippets from the meeting they had where Luna jumped into the conversation stating that Alameda doesn't feel protected because of the things that have transpired. Alameda just outright said, yo, H. Wood, which is David Harrell, tried to grape Aya. And this obviously referred to the incident that we just covered. The most interesting dynamic about this is Alameda is still signed to TDE, but yet it feels like Linda and Aya, who's suing TDE, got Alameda's full support, right? Right, because Aya is obviously Alameda's best friend, and Linda was once, I guess, managing Alameda when she was working for TDE. But in this situation, it's like, hold on. If your artist who signed to you is actively supporting a lawsuit against you, what happens to the artist? Where do this go from here? Now, Alameda has expressed that she blocked Brandon, his phone number on Instagram, or whichever one of the two or both. So she has completely distanced herself from what would be the TDE executives, right? She's completely against the culture at TDE from what it appears. Now, they called her out for her attitude, but she's a woman. She's going to have attitude if she feels like you are attempting to grape her homegirls and you are allowing your homies to try to attempt to grape her homegirls without any type of, like course of actions. But let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this? I think this is bad. This is terrible. Let me know, okay? And if you're still watching this video,
lock them up. That's how I feel about it. Lock them up, bro. That's that West Coast weird shit. I ain't saying that it wouldn't happen on the East Coast or anywhere, but hey, nigga, let's call it. Nigga, that's that West Coast weird shit. You West Coast niggas be on some weird shit. It's just like, y'all may not be on that Atlanta weird shit, but y'all be pretty damn close. Shit, y'all got Isaiah Rashad, man. That's the closest thing to Atlanta weird. That's all I'm saying. But all right, man, there's more. There's more videos. Let's see. So I think there's somebody else doing a recap of what's going on. Let's check this out.
TDE right now is beyond disturbing. We're talking about absolute horror stories surfacing from inside one of the most respected labels in hip hop. At the center of this storm is an artist named Alameda. She's been signed to Top Dog Entertainment for about 5 years, and along with two of her close associates, she's describing a living situation that sounds more like a nightmare than a career opportunity. Even though these allegations are explosive, Alameda is technically still on the roster, which adds a crazy layer of tension to everything happening legally. The other two women leading the charge are Linda, an industry heavy hitter who was brought in to manage Alameda's career, and Ya, who is Alameda's lifelong best friend. Both of them have officially filed lawsuits, and the details are graphic. This all blew up after Alameda called a high-level meeting with TDE Brass. She basically sat them down and said, "Look, we are being harassed and abused by the people you put in power over us." She didn't hold back. She told the executive straight up that when she reports things, nothing happens. It's the men in the circle getting protected while the women are left to fend for themselves. Alameda alleged that while living in the TDE house, she was constantly targeted by high-profile artists. One of the biggest names she brought up was
Who
Isaiah
all live in
Rashad.
the TDE
She
house?
claims he was the most
In the
consistent
TDE
source of her
house.
harassment, and despite reporting him, the label didn't move a muscle. There's another artist mentioned as Artist S, who many people are speculating is Sir, who allegedly tried to force his way into her room while she was.
And listen, straight up, dog. I don't know how founding or implemental Isaiah Rashad was to the forming of TDE or the foundation built of TDE, like as far as like getting it off the ground and creating this notoriety. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. The moment that video came out where your boy is throating two Mexicans, y'all should have cut that nigga from the label. I'm sorry. Gucci would have did it. You see what happened when an artist do some shit Gucci don't like, other than him just getting robbed by Pooh Shiesty, allegedly. Beforehand, bro, you say some shit he don't like. Gucci like, all right, I'm dropping you. I'm gonna just get rid of you. Oh, you out here, they got snitch allegations on you. All right, man, we're gonna drop you. Like, that's what you should have did.
Was asleep. The claims against Isaiah Rashad specifically are wild. Alameda says he'd send unsolicited, explicit photos and videos, but it gets weirder. She alleges he offered to pay her bills on the condition that he could watch her engage in sexual acts with other men. It's like something straight out of a Diddy-style playbook. For a label that brands itself on being real and founded by guys with deep street ties, seeing these types of freaky allegations go public is a massive hit to their reputation. Now, you might wonder why Alameda isn't a lead plaintiff in the suit yet. It's likely because she's still under contract, and as we've seen with other artists, suing your boss while they still own your career is a chess move that usually ends badly. However, she's the one who provided the ammunition. During that 3-hour meeting with the execs, she recorded the entire thing. She handed that audio over to Linda and Ya, giving them the proof they needed to show that TDE leadership knew
Is this
exactly
how
what was
Drake
going
should have
on
went
and chose
about
to
it?
do nothing. Linda's specific story is chilling.
Hey,
She
why
detailed an incident involving
Alameda
Brandon
look
Tiffany,
like
the son of
SZA
TDE's founder,
before the
Top Dog
surgery?
himself. After a night out, she claims he tried to sexually assault her at his residence.
Allegedly.
She only managed to get away by faking like she was going to be sick,
SZA
which gave her
before
just
she
enough time to close
started
out the door.
changing her looks.
She documented this immediately, even messaging Brandon about how messed up it was, especially since she was seeing one of the label's big artists, J-Rock, at the time. The legal filings describe these women having to fight for their lives just to exist in that environment. Ya, the best friend, has her own horrific accounts, including a TDE member named B-Dog allegedly assaulting.
All right, so that's pretty much everything Flocka was saying. What's this? Oh, what's this? Man, if y'all don't know who this is, I forgot what his fucking name is. It's gonna come to me. But he actually used to be on the show with Flacco on No Jumper. And before No Jumper, he was the guy giving out the West Coast report card on artists. And that's where he got his notoriety from. And he was most recently on a podcast with T-Rail. And T-Rail, he has a podcast back on Fig where he's with a few other people. One of those being Smack, and I believe Smack is a TDE affiliate. And I think that's where this man got his information from. And Flocka don't like this dude. Like they actually like beefed, like had words for each other. But y'all see, if y'all go do some research, they now doing podcasts together to expose TDE. This shit is amazing. I just love when the tables turn, man. Y'all remember when TDE was so behind Kendrick on that weird case shit? Why is he around? Y'all got weird cases, man. So why are any of y'all around? Cam is crazy how the tables turn. That's his name, John Paul. Nah, fuck it. I'm one of them niggas. Nigga, once it's beef, nigga, say whatever you say. Take it to the limit, nigga. Damn. Hey, Isaiah Rashad ain't never gonna let this shit down. And I love TD. I love Daylight. Yep, we got another video lined up. Can't wait to get to it.
Getting exposed. One person reposted academics talking about this. Now, academics.
I didn't realize y'all didn't hear any of this.
He believes that if Joe Budden is being paid or receiving some type of TDE is playing unfair in the media space and playing unfair when it comes to streams. So when Daylight DM Dejan, as you see right here, and Daylight is trying to proposition Dejan to essentially be a mouthpiece for this new hip hop group he's starting. So Daylight tells Dejan Drake has Act as his main promo guy. Kendrick Lamar has Joe Budden. Now this is what people are like, huh? Kendrick has Joe Budden. What do you mean Kendrick has Joe Budden? Like Kendrick has Joe as what? His main promo guy? So Joe is taking payola and running like sneaky, like promo for Kendrick and spreading Kendrick Lamar's agenda and being a mouthpiece for Kendrick Lamar, and we didn't know this. So this was news to a lot of people.
So
now I don't think
see how you
Daylight
talking about Joe Budden.
We're
going to talk about that in a second.
Now Daylight says, I'm telling you now, jump on this and start letting people know that this is the next wave of people. Start pushing it because we're about to make a super wave. He's propositioning Dejan to be the mouthpiece for him and his group, to essentially use his platform to push their agenda and be their mouthpiece and run narratives on behalf of them. And when he says Drake has academics, Kendrick has Joe Budden, people are like, hold on, Joe been running narratives and pushing agendas for Kendrick Lamar. Well, what are you saying? And this caused a huge media storm where people, like in droves, came on social media, including academics, and reacted to this and couldn't believe what they were seeing. One user says, dumbass Daylight just confirmed Joe Budden was on Kendrick's payroll. Another user says, laugh my ass off, nasty work. Somebody says, the Joe Budden podcast just got exposed for engaging in paid agenda-based narratives. We've already stated this convo on my channel. We'll be dropping a part 2 next week. You're not going to want to miss this one. Somebody says, Dot has who? Somebody says the bots losing control, TDE getting exposed. One person reposted academics talking about this. Now, academics' whole thing is that he don't believe that Kendrick is doing this himself. He believes that if Joe Budden is being paid or receiving some type of incentive to run Kendrick Lamar's.
All right. Let's move to the next one. As you can see, Joe Budden addresses this shit.
talk about the payola allegations as well as Drake's upcoming album Iceman. Now, if you guys don't remember, there was a blogger that was trying to paint a narrative that Joe Budden was getting paid by TDE, was getting paid payola to spread narratives for TDE, to talk positive about them and Kendrick Lamar. This was just a ridiculous narrative that came from this blogger because he was upset at TDE affiliates. He had beef with them and he didn't like what they were saying about him. They had back and forth. He also, this blogger, of course, was saying horrible things as well to the TDE affiliates also. However, Punch didn't know this and contacted this blogger saying that he appreciated his work. Everything good, champion. Was looking at some of your commentary. Definitely needed. However, once the other TDE affiliates, Mac, Wap, and Keem, had came out and said that this person and them have a beef, an ongoing beef that's been lasting for some time now, Punch had distanced himself from this person, and this person got upset and decided to release those messages between him and Daylight, where Daylight had said that Drake has Act, Dot has Joe Budden, and this is where the payola allegations come from. Now, in a recent video, you can go ahead and check it out on the channel. We had already debunked these rumors. This was a poor narrative that was made by this blogger because he's upset at TDE. He's upset that the affiliates that he was beefing with told TDE Punch not to rock with them, and Punch respected their wishes. Obviously, Punch is not going to go against the team. He's going to side with his friends. He's going to side with the affiliates on the label. But this is how this narrative was created in the first place. This person was so salty, he had to talk about Joe Budden and create this crazy propaganda, this crazy narrative that he's been helping Kendrick Lamar, that he's been helping TDE and taking payola from them, which they laugh about in this new interview.
Yo, Punch, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
How much Joe costs?
Oh man, that's private, bro.
What's the ticket on Joe?
That's what I'm up here. I'm checking my investment.
Oh my God, bro. Just checking up on my investment is crazy. Now, for the people that don't understand, obviously this is sarcasm, but this is funny how Punch is the one that's now sitting across from Joe Budden having this conversation when the narrative was spun about Joe Budden because of what the person was mad about between him and Punch. Isn't it funny how the person that he was mad at is now talking to the person he spun a narrative about, and now they're together in a room laughing about it? Hilarious, bro. That's why I be telling you.
And you think that's a coincidence?
Like a fool out here.
Make sure everything is right. Yeah, they say they. You see them say that about me?
I did.
You see when they say that?
Absolutely.
You don't clear it up neither.
Absolutely not. You gotta let them rock.
And Punch has always been the person to talk about any publicity is good publicity. He's always talked about it. The engagement. When they were calling Doechii a plant, he said, let him call her a plant. Any publicity is good publicity. Punch knows that. He's a businessman. And it's just like any line of business. If they talk good about you, if they talk bad about you, as long as they're talking about you, that's all that matters. And Punch is well aware of this.
Oh, man, how you feel? You know what time it is next week?
What's going on next week?
Ice. That's why you know what time it is. Iceman is next week. So you gonna be outside?
Ooh.
You.
Never in the house.
Now, this is something that I think he's trying to say a subliminal message with. When he says, I've never been in the house, I've been outside, I think he's speaking not only for himself, but the people around him. In a recent video, Isaiah Rashad had shared that he's been in the studio with other TDE affiliates and has talked about seeing Kendrick more often than usual. Every time he goes to the studio, he's there. And he says he's in the studio for a reason before he cuts himself off. I think when Punch says that he's never been in the house, is implying that they never stop working, that they're constantly outside. Not only him and TDE, but other people alike, PG Lane, Kendrick Lamar, and all these other guys, right?
Today's spicy.
All right. Well,
I ain't gonna lie. The best thing Kendrick could do is drop every time Drake drops.
he's busy, man. Yeah, he got shit to do. You can't just listen to everything.
You can solidify that number one spot.
I'm still in the game, so I want to hear where everybody going.
Oh, yeah, you gonna hear what Iceman got to say.
We ain't get an album this year, Kendrick. It's gonna be a problem.
We phony as fuck, yo.
I mean, it's no secret that they're going to hear about Iceman or eventually know what Drake is saying on the album. No matter what happens, they're going to get wind of what Drake is saying on the album if it's referring to them. If it's about TDE, if it's about Kendrick Lamar, anybody from the camp, they're going to get wind of it, whether they listen to the album or not. If people tell them about it or they find out about it personally. And at times, I guess you have to study your opponent. You tell me how you feel about that.
Why we phony?
Because like we was up here going crazy when Kendrick was going
For free, yeah.
For free.
We was going crazy. We was
For free. So everybody stop saying that they're trying to spin a narrative, bro. This whole time, people have been saying that Joe Budden has been getting paid by Kendrick. That shit sounded crazy, bro. Everybody out here with a poor ass narrative, bloggers out here with a poor ass narrative, need to get their shit together, bro.
Looking a little biased at a moment.
What was making better style?
Yeah,
I don't like that.
All right, man. So I just wanted to touch on that, man. I don't trust TD. They got some weird shit going on, whether it's the Biden paid promo, the allegations. It's weird in that camp. So I know it's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers that rock with Kendrick in particular that's gonna look past all of this bullshit and not mention it or pretend it don't exist. But y'all gonna call Drake a pedophile, even though there's no evidence or any court cases of him doing anything like that. But there is for TDE, but we gonna look past it. It's not like they actually have a real court date or a real court case where people are on trial. Yeah, like never happened with Drake, but I just want to put that out there. But yeah, man, we gonna have some more coming up, man. As soon as I get updates, we gonna update y'all, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.